also been felled after one term. And sema Hemini aendeleza wimbi la one term Africa baada ya kutoa urais kwa kumshinda rais anayeondoka. The wave of incumbents being defeated at the ballots after one term in office is definitely increasing. There's a trend, we cannot deny it. And this is largely driven by the younger voter bloc. And in Kenya, everyone is hoping that, okay, fine, however consequential the elections will be, we do not know, that definitely this voter bloc, that demographic will be consequential in this. Are you still hopeful that, yes, we will feel their voice in 2027?
Yeah, that's true. There's a wave and we can feel it. It's moving across Africa, not just Africa. I think we've also seen a bit of that in Asia, the Asian countries. The young people of Kenya did a commendable job, and we can always see that there are so many people who took a leave from that, they borrowed leave from that, and they saw what our young people were agitating for. Their voice was heard in as much as at some point they were muzzled. The fact is these young people were heard. True that there's been the one-term wave across the region, and that has been seen in the general elections or in the elections that took place for people like in Chakwera to go home. Nobody expected that he would go, and several other, including the Madagascar and other countries. For me, I want to believe that the time is ripe for the voice of the young people, both the millennials and the Gen Zs, to be heard. But the noise that we continue to make in the opposition, and even for the silent majority, a silent majority that does not align. They are not in government, they are not in the opposition. You will not see them in the rallies, but they are organizing, as we said, in other forums. But that is not enough. There's a lot of work that needs to go down. It's not just the noise, it's not just the hope, the belief that it is possible. If you look at how the Kenyan people were able to unseat Moi and even just have, Mwai Kibaki become the president in 2002, there's a lot of work that was also happening at the grassroots level. And that is what I feel that is the missing, this time round, that is where we are missing the point. Yes, I know there's a lot of civic education that can happen on social media and using the digital platforms and all that, but I still feel that there's a lot that needs to happen at the grassroots level. We are making a lot of noise as the opposition, but people are also questioning the goodwill, the genuineness of the people, some of the people who are making noise, because at some point they were part of the oppressor. So when they come out and start speaking, the people are asking, okay, at what point did you realize? The most important thing is going to the grassroots, talking to the people, and just realizing that the young people are calling us to change. The young people are calling us to do politics differently. This issue of moving from this party, from Kenya Kwanza, then tomorrow we form another outfit called whatever we are going to call it, because I'm sure we are going to give it a name, and then speak a language that inspires hope, yet we don't live to the expectations of the young people. I think young people are really tired of those rhetorics. And the moment we realize that for both the people in government and the people in the opposition, that is when we'll start addressing real issues that bite the Kenyan people. Because up to now, there's a lot of bickering. And especially, and I'm part of the united opposition in as much as I'm not a principal. The young people in this country, not just the young people, including the other citizens, they are asking us to offer an alternative, just like Waziri is calling it. The people are saying, okay, we agree that this is not working. So tell us, what is the way forward? What are we supposed to do?
The feeling, Famba, should have been that, yes, this Gen Z demographic is so at the center of the next point that we make a decision as a country. Yet, if you look at the political class, including the president, it would appear everyone has decided, forget about these young people. We can do it without them. That's a feeling not like what we're seeing everywhere else, even in the Asian countries and elsewhere in Africa. Why do you think that is?
I do not think that is the situation. First of all, let me respond to Waziri Kirwa. I do not intend to demean anyone. It's only that I believe the united opposition is not united. So that's why I use the word so-called, and we already discussed those things, including the divisions between Matiang'i's school of thought and Gachagwa's school of thought. Now back to what you talked about. In terms of youth population in Kenya, you know, if we are to compare with other countries that are re-electing or voting out their leaders, every country has its own historical background. So in Kenya, young people have participated in political processes, but within the frameworks of various political parties. I do not think, even if we have the 8 million that did not vote in the last election come to vote, even if we have them voting this time around, it's not so obvious that they'll vote one way or the other. They still vote on the basis of their political persuasions as established along the political parties that are there. So there are those ones who will vote for the opposition, and there are those ones who will vote for the re-election of President William Ruto. So whatever will decide the election is the strategy that will be employed by both of the parties. So if the party that employs the best strategy will prevail, then that is the party that will win. If you employ a weak strategy, you cannot 100% just rely on the so-called the youth vote, that the youth vote will automatically come your way for as long as you are there talking about one term. It's not going to work that way.
Yet we've seen across board that the younger generation is more inclined to pursue change.
They are
sustainability
they're inclined towards pursuing change,
been.
Fred. They are inclined towards pursuing change, but they have not pronounced themselves that they are going to follow one term. I do not think if any sane person will want to follow somebody like Gachagua, that is a representation of change.
The same ones who are shouting must go.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's correct. But I think the language of the young people has not been understood because they not, to me, they don't subscribe to the one-term and the two-term kind of rhetorics. The young people are saying, we are tired. And it is really unfortunate that even some of the young people who are represented in both camps do not seem to understand. And I'm not talking about the young people like Kathy Irongo and Fwamba here. No, I'm talking about those young people who came out, made their voice heard, and what they were telling us is that this doesn't work. And they were also reminding us that this is the only country that we have. We live here, we need jobs, okay? We need functional systems when it comes to healthcare, education, and things like those. But nobody seems to understand that. We are still doing politics the old way, the old school kind of stance, you know. You just need to take to the platform, insult a little, you know, align with this person, promise that you're bringing votes from a certain tribe. I don't think we are doing the young people justice.
Yes. And probably the problem, Kirwa, even as you make your final comments, is that we're looking at the youth demographic, either through the prism of the broad-based government or the united opposition. But the young people are not really exactly tied, and I agree with Fwamba that they're not tied to either of these political groupings. But whether or not they will be consequential as they've been in other countries, that's the question.
Well, I think we'll be deluding ourselves if we were to say young people are oblivious of what is happening in Kenya. They came out last year and they made a statement on the issues that ought to be addressed by any regime in power. And we are taking into consideration some of those issues so that when we funnel out our manifesto, we shall be able to address those issues in a way that we are responding to their cries. And we are not going to say that we are doing it ourselves. We are involving them as part and parcel of the movement that we believe in. And therefore, they are going to define their own future. They are going to define the way they want things to be done. And they will be part and parcel of the manifesto rolling out come the right time. It is also the height of either naivety and dishonesty for anybody to expect us now to talk about our manifesto. Our manifesto is supposed to be a promise to the people of Kenya at the right time. We are dealing with the manifesto of Kenya Kwanza, which they say they shall do the following things. And we are holding them to account on the basis of what they told us. We are not telling them to do things a different way. You told us you are going to do 1, 2, 3. 1, you have failed. 2, you have failed. 3, you have failed. Therefore, total failure means you are supposed to be evicted from the conveniences of State House and other institutions of leadership. So we are not totally oblivious of what the youth are saying.
Okay.
We are aware, and they're also aware. I just want to say this. In the united opposition, we have young people who are already dealing with the issues of Gen Z and millennials. And these are people that we feel they are also leaders. You know, Fred, some of the people who are now ignoring young people, they were leaders at the age of the millennials and Gen Z. Personally, I was member of parliament at the age of 31. And I was not special. There are many other people who became members of parliament, like Wahinya Ndirangu from Nyeri at the age of 22. So we are not saying Gen Zs are children who do not have an opinion. We know they have an opinion, and we want them to express their opinion in our manifesto at the right time.
All right. 15 seconds just for a parting shot. Just one line as you end.
About young people, if there is one person, if there is one leader who has really embraced young people, it's President William Ruto. In fact, those of us who are in Azimio were so jealous of the people who were in Kenya Kwanza in 2022, because majority of the MPs were elected under President William Ruto's banner, including those people who do not have any money. Some of them who are insulting him right now are people who are supported by President William Ruto, and they were young people.
All right.
So it is not genuine to say that the president has not been supporting young people or the upcoming leaders.
Thank you. Kathy?
I think mine is just to keep reminding and calling our young people, because we've given the young people a lot of airtime today, especially, and I know our concern is derived from the fact that we are looking at the numbers and they are not very encouraging. So to remind them, if you have not acquired that voter's card, please go and register.
All right.
Fred, there is headline story of the Standard. Release them. I think it is the responsibility of any genuine and responsible nation to make sure their citizens are protected wherever they are. This issue of just being lackluster when they are Kenyans outside Kenya and we don't know their state. Remember, in the 70s, the late Esther Chesire disappeared in Uganda and never to be seen again. The late Kungu Karumba went to Uganda to go for his money. He was owed 22,000 at the time, which was like 400 million today. He never came back. These are some of the issues that we need to be vigilant. We may have our own differences, but when Kenyans disappear and we don't know where they are, it is the height of irresponsibility on the part of the government of the day.
All right. Thank you so much, Kipruto Arap Kirwa, who served as Minister for Agriculture in the Kibaki One administration, Kathy Rungu, governance expert, and Fwamba NC Fwamba, political analyst, our panelists this morning. Just one comment here, Gladstone Obwamu says, each and every season has its own plans and ways. The president is just trying to bring a realignment of the political atmosphere where he wants to weaken the enemy but taking his arsenals. Just a game of cards and nothing much. Hustler narrative took him there. The populist will keep him there. Akili Mjini is all at play. Thank you so much for keeping it TV47 and for watching Morning Cafe. The headlines once again, from hustlers to dynasty. That's the front page of the Daily Nation. Release them. The Standard this morning, the story about the activists who were arrested in Uganda. Foreign jobs lie as rogue recruitment agencies mint cash. We did not get to discuss that. That's the front page of the Star. Kenyan loans in yuan surge as dollar share cut by 850 billion shillings. Kwenye ukurasa wa mbele wa gazeti leo anasema vita baridi. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the state of the nation. Good morning.